What's up, fam? I go by the name of Blessons. I'm a producer and mixing engineer of the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and today I'm answering your question. Let's get into it.
Blessons did it.
Ask and you shall receive, right? We got a comment here from the homie, the Future Sound Beat. He commented on my How to Enhance Your Mix Bus video, and he said, thanks for sharing. I will definitely try them out today, but please, can you make a video talking about the dynamics of a song, like how to keep the dynamic constantly, consistently? Hey, however you're trying to say it, I think I got it, all right? And I think I can help you out. Now, when we talk about dynamics in a song, right, we're mostly talking about our drums, right? Because they're the most dynamic things that we're trying to control. Now, in my last video, when I went over my mix bus chain, you'll notice that I did everything subtly, right? So I'm controlling things little by little. That's making the overall change, right? That's keeping that dynamic constant, but it's not degrading the sound per se or killing our drums or transients, right? One thing that I noticed that a lot of beginners do, as did I, and not that you're a beginner, sir, but just saying that I do see, is people will put like one compressor on your mix bus and then, you know, think that's a good thing, or put the limiter and hey, you're good. But what happens is that one limiter or one compressor, whatever you're using, is doing all the work, right? So it's having to do more work, which is not necessarily good for the mix, right? It can be working overboard on certain sounds, but not on all sounds. So how do we get around that? Right here, let's pull this up here. Right here, I have a track that I'm working on mixing. And the best way for me to show you how to control the dynamics when you get a song that is very dynamic, meaning 808s, kicks, things like that, is on the drum bus, right? We do it in series, and the first thing you want to definitely try to control without killing the transient is on the drum bus. So how can we do this? I want to draw your attention to this drum bus right here that I have, okay? And I'm going to play these drums for you, and let me turn this off first, okay? And what I want you to pay attention to is this number right here, okay? This is the peak volume that this bus will be hitting, okay, if that makes sense. So let me play it and you'll see what I'm talking about. Okay, now if you see this drum bus, you see that it peaks at negative 2.4, right? That's okay, not a big deal, all right? Now, as you notice here, first off, I do have this virtual tape machine. This in itself is a form of compression, right? So when you add tape to something, it is doing some type of compression. So that's one way, okay? However, let's say I want to control these dynamics a little more. What I tend to go to is a clipper, okay? And I'm going to play this, unbypass it. And remember, we peaked at 2.4, all right? Let's see where we peak now. All right, check that out. Negative 3.5. So we're saving 1 dB of headroom by adding this clipper. It's not really changing the sound at all, right? Let's play it. I'm going to bypass it and unbypass it. And if you look here, you'll see what is clipping in this waveform, okay? So let's start with the bypass and then I'll bring it in. Now you can tell that it's getting a little more punchier as I'm playing it, right? But I'm not clipping a lot. As you could tell, it's just the peaks, right? I'm not doing this more for an effect. It's really, I'm using this as a control mechanism to give me a little bit more headroom as I'm going into my mix bus. Now, what is the most dynamic thing on this drum bus? Well, actually, it's the rims that I have here, right? So another thing you could do if you needed a little bit more headroom, and I didn't do this, but I got it here just so you can see, is I can go to whatever the culprit is that's actually killing my drum bus here, and I can add a clipper there as well, right? So what I did here is I clipped these rims, as you see here, and look what it does. We'll look at this rim bus, right? So let's do before, okay, where these rims are peaking. Negative 8.8, right? unbypass it. Let's see what we got. That's 2 dB of headroom that I have achieved just by clipping those rims if I needed to. Now in this mix I didn't do that, but I wanted to show you an actual example of how to do that. Now you don't have to use standard clip. I use standard clip. There's a lot of actual cheap clippers out there. This is not really expensive, but there's free clippers out there that you can do that. You got to be careful when you're clipping though, because if you go overboard, it's going to make it sound horrible. So as I always say, just trust your ears and you'll be all right. So hopefully this has shed some light on how to control the dynamics a little more going into your mix bus. So when you get to your mix bus, you're not hitting your compressors, your limiters, and things like that too hard. It's more of a controlled thing, okay? And you can use clipping on any instrument. I'm just giving you an example of the drum bus because I do find that in this mix, the mixes that I do, them are the most dynamic things in my mix, okay? If you guys got anything from this and you have further questions that you're trying to get clarity on, leave me a comment, man. I don't mind making videos like this at all. If you getting started mixing, you need help getting started, you can download my mini course. I have the link in the bio or the description, how I start every mix, as well as my free presets for you guys. Go ahead and pick them up if you need that. Again, I'll go by the name of Blessons, guys. Remember to always trust your ears, and I'm out.
Blessings did it.